Today we are going to review some of the things that we've learned about vectors. So in this first graph, using these vectors, we're going to graph 2 times vector b. So vector b goes right 3 and down 1. 2 times that, there's our origin, goes right 6 and down 2. So there's our vector 2 times vector b. The arrow does not go beyond that endpoint. The opposite of vector A is right 2, up 2. The opposite is down 2, left 2. So there is the opposite of vector A. 2 times vector b minus vector A, that's the same as 2 times vector b plus the opposite of vector A. So we've already graphed 2 times b, we've graphed the opposite of A, we just need to put those two together. So if I take this vector, the opposite of A, and slide its tail down to here, and go down 2 and left 2 from here, that's where the final head is going to be. So from the initial tail to that final head is 2 times vector b minus vector A. Okay, so our next one, we want to write this vector in component form. Okay, so we're going to subtract head minus tail, x minus x, 4 minus negative 4, and y minus y, head minus tail, negative 2 minus 3. We know this is the head because it's got the arrow, so that's got to be the head, and we've got to do head minus tail. So 4 minus negative 4 is 8, negative 2 minus 3 is negative 5. That is the component form. The magnitude is the square root. This is really just using the distance formula. The square root of what we've already gotten from subtracting, 8 squared plus negative 5 squared. So that's 64 plus 25. So that is the square root of 89. If this can be simplified, we need to simplify it. This cannot be simplified. So the square root of 89 is the magnitude. Okay, we're going to do the same skill again. Here's our initial point, from, that's the tail, to, that's the terminal point, that's the head. Head minus tail is negative 3 minus 4, and negative 5 minus negative 1. So our component form is going to be negative 7, negative 4. Okay, so the magnitude is the square root of negative 7 squared plus negative 4 squared, which is the square root of 49 plus 16. That's the square root of 65. 65 is 5 times 13, and neither of those are square numbers. No square numbers go into either of those, so the square root of 65 is the simplest form. Okay, find the magnitude and the direction. So we've got our component form already. The magnitude is the square root of negative 8 squared plus 3 squared. So that's 64 plus 9. That is the square root of 73. And I'm not going to find any square numbers to go into that either. So that's the simplest form. The direction is arctangent y over x. So that's 3 over negative 8. And this particular vector is negative 8, positive 3. So that's in quadrant 2. So in quadrant 1, we're not going to add anything. Quadrant 2, to our result here, we're going to add 180. Quadrant 3 is also plus 180. Quadrant 4, whatever we get from our arctan, we add 360. Okay, so here we're in quadrant 2, so we need plus 180. Okay, we want to make sure we're in degrees for our calculator mode. We'll type in arctan 3 over negative 8 plus 180, 159.44 degrees. Okay, from polar form, we want the vector's component form. Okay, so to get the x component, the vector's x component is 7 cosine 138, and the vector's y component is 7 sine 138. And again, we need to be in degree mode, and that's going to give us negative 5.20, 4.68. I want to show you how we got those numbers just to make sure there's no confusion here. So 7 cosine 138 is negative 5.20, and 7 sine 138 is 4.68. So that's our vector's component form. The magnitude, well, that's right here. Polar form is magnitude, comma, direction. So the magnitude is 7. The direction is 138 degrees. I'd like to go back up here and just make sure that I show you how this works. So arctan, that's second tangent, or the inverse tangent, 3 over negative 8 plus 180. 159.44 degrees. Okay, and now some arithmetic operations. Vector n plus vector m, so that's 5, negative 4, plus negative 3, 7. Gives us a component form of 5 plus negative 3 is 2. Negative 4 plus 7 is 3. M minus n, negative 3, 7, minus 5, negative 4. Negative 3 minus 5 is negative 8. 7 minus negative 4 is 11. And 3 times n, 3 times 5, negative 4, plus 4 times m, so that's 4 times negative 3, 7. Okay, so first I want to do the multiplications. So that would be 3 times 5 and 3 times negative 4, so that would be 15, negative 12. And negative 12, 28. 5 plus negative 12 is 3. Negative 12 plus 28 is 16.